After driving over 100 kilometers with Varadero's sea breeze accompanying us, we arrived in Havana at 11 o'clock in the morning. Havana, a thick historical book layered with the dust of time, slowly unfolded before us. Plaza San Francisco. The plaza, built in the 16th century, has stones on the ground that have been worn smooth over the time of centuries. These stones are said to have come from the ballast of Spanish ships. Some of them were engraved with the names of sailors from the era of Columbus, who believed that carving their names into the stones would help guide their souls home. Each stone in the plaza carries the weight of history, the plunder of pirates, the bustling exchanges of merchant ships, and the tragic trade of slaves. For centuries, the footsteps of merchants, slaves, pirates, colonists, and poets have all overlapped here. And today, we quietly add our own step to this ongoing story. Plaza de San Francisco opens the first page of the city's epic for us.
And the second is because when you see it like this, there are trophies of the city. They were used
A cannon with its muzzle buried downwards. This symbolizes the humor and believing of the Cuban people. Point the gun at nobody, and the world will be peaceful.
Was used to protect the corner or the entrance of the house.
The piece of metal in the corner of the wall turned out to be an old-fashioned crash barrier, specifically designed to curb the road rage of carriage chauffeur.
Più piccolo sono cigaretti. So he used to walk this street, so it was named Bishop Street. At the end of this street, in the bottom of the street, like 8 more streets.
In front of this pink building, crowds of tourists gather, drawn by its connection to a famous former guest, Ernest Hemingway. In 1932, Hemingway rented room 511 for just $1.50 a day, where he completed the first draft of For Whom the Bell Tolls. The room has been preserved in its original state, and Hemingway's old typewriter remains on display, as though waiting for its owner to return and resume his writing. Plaza de Armas, built in 1519, is the oldest square in Cuba and is a vibrant microcosm of the island's history in recent 500 years. Following the Cuban Revolution in 1959, the square was transformed into a cultural hub with its surrounding buildings meticulously restored into museums, hotels, and art galleries. It also hosts the Feria de Libros, the largest open-air book market in Latin America. On the west side of the square stands the Palacio de los Capitanes Generales, built in 1776. During the colonial era, it was the power center of the Spanish Empire in Cuba. Today, it houses the Havana City Museum. A romantic legend is attached to the road in front of the palace. In the 18th century, wishing to prevent the sound of carriages from disturbing his wife's sleep, the governor ordered that the road be paved with mahogany. This material was believed to absorb the noise of the wheels, ensuring a peaceful night for the governor's household.
Cubans like to do this to bless the city or Christ. Cubans usually say that Christ. It's an internal joke for Cubans, but if Christ says that we have
to the east of the square is the Havana Castle of the Royal Force. In the 16th century, to transport the wealth looted from the American colonies back to Europe, the Spanish Empire established the treasure fleet. Havana was the fleet's transit hub in the Americas. Ships loaded with gold and silver had to assemble in Havana and wait for the summer monsoon to return to Europe. The huge wealth made Havana the target of Caribbean pirates. In order to resist the threat of pirates, Spain began to build this Havana Castle of the Royal Force in 1558. Its unique symmetrical four-pointed star structure is the first Renaissance-style fortress in the Americas. It and two other forts, Morro Castle, and Punta Castle, together formed the Iron Triangle defense system of the Spanish Empire in the 16th and 17th centuries, protecting the treasure fleet and Havana port. At the top of the tower of the Havana Castle of the Royal Force, there is a weather vane with a small bronze statue, La Giraldilla. The statue holds a cross in the right hand and a scepter in the left hand. The prototype of the statue is believed to be Isabel de Bobadilla, the wife of Hernando de Soto, the first governor of Cuba. In 1539, de Soto left Havana and led his army to the North American continent. During this period, she climbed the castle tower every day to look at the sea, hoping that her husband would return. But de Soto died of illness in North America in 1542, and his body was sunk into the Mississippi River and never returned. This sad love story made this statue the most famous city symbol of Havana.
Ah, 这是老城墙，他们原来这个哈瓦那都在城里嘛，然后呢，他们每到晚上9点钟呢就要宵禁，就要放炮，完了街上只有军队的人才可以走。
This area was originally a swamp. Later, people filled the swamp and built a square. In 1748, the Havana Cathedral was built on the north side of the square, so the square was named Cathedral Square. Havana Cathedral, known as the Symphony of Stone, is the most exquisite Baroque building in Cuba. The coral stone wall has been eroded by the sea wind and presents mottled textures. The curved shape and the asymmetrical towers, one wide and one narrow, were deliberately made by the architect. It is said that this can better withstand hurricanes in the Caribbean Sea. Before being transported back to Spain in 1898, Columbus's remains were placed in the church. Here was not only a religious center, but also a slave market. The square was surrounded by mansions of wealthy merchants. Ironically, their wealth was directly or indirectly related to the slave trade outside their doorways. From the left side of the Cathedral Square, 1 block away and turn left, you will find La Bodeguita del Medio. People say good wine needs no bush. The La Bodeguita del Medio relies not only on its wine, but also on the phrase, my mojito en la bodeguita. Hemingway once said, my mojito en la bodeguita, my daiquiri en el floridita. It is the phrase, my mojito en la bodeguita, that made this inconspicuous tavern in this small alley famous all over the world. The tavern calls itself Hemingway's Mojito Mecca, and even framed Hemingway's words on the wall. However, experts say the old man's handwriting on it is fake. When the sweetness of rum and the freshness of mint slide over the tip of your tongue, it doesn't matter if it was really written by Hemingway or not. What we drink is the most charms of Havana. Reality and legend are inseparable somehow. Havana is roughly divided into the Old Town, the Central District, and the New Town. After leaving the tavern in the Old Town, we drove to the New Town for lunch.
Said that she had the idea that New Havana was smaller than Old Havana, and it's not like that. Old Havana is just a small municipality because it is the historical center of Havana. But Havana has different neighborhoods, different municipalities between the ones we can name Plaza La Revolución, Playa. This is the entrance for Chinatown.
We passed through the Central District on the way. Behind the postcard-like silkiness of Havana, there are also wrinkles of daily life. After lunch, we headed to Revolution Square. Revolution Square. In the early 20th century, this place was still a wasteland. In the 1950s, during the dictatorship of Fulgencio Batista, a citizen square was built here. After the victory of the revolution in 1959, it was renamed Revolution Square. Revolution Square is the most politically symbolic square in Cuba. It is one of the largest city squares in the world and can accommodate more than 1 million people. It is the place where the Cuban government holds large-scale rallies, parades, and speeches. It has witnessed many major events in Cuba's modern history. In the center of the square is a 109-meter-high monument to commemorate the Cuban national hero, José Martí. On the north side of the square is the Ministry of the Interior building. On the outer wall of the building, there is an iron relief of Che Guevara, and below it is his famous saying, "Ever onward to victory." On the opposite side, on the telecom building, it is a relief from Camilo Cienfuegos, and the slogan, "You're doing well, Fidel." The Revolution Square is a totem of modern Cuba and a must-visit for tourists. Return to the Old Town from the Revolution Square, passing through Malecón. This avenue has been glorious and has also experienced decline. Many buildings are in disrepair, but they are always full of vitality. Here the waves beat not only the stone embankments, but also the tenacious and romantic souls of the Cuban people. At 4:45, we left Havana. The old walls of Havana gradually blurred in the twilight, and time gently closed this heavy book. What we took away was just a page of Havana's thousands of stories. The story of this city will continue to circulate in the Caribbean sea breeze, in every glass of rum, in the smoke of every cigar, and in every melody played by street performers. Havana, a city that is always worth reading carefully.